The galaxy was peaceful for the first time in centuries. The great wars of old had ended, and the United Stellar Council ruled with calm and wisdom. Dozens of races had learned to live side by side, trading, exploring, and building together. It was a golden age, one that many believed would last forever. But peace often blinds those who have never known fear. Far beyond the edge of Council space, a small blue planet quietly watched the stars. Its people called themselves humans. For generations they had looked toward the night sky, dreaming of joining the greater galactic community. When the day finally came, the galaxy welcomed them with open arms. To most alien observers, humans seemed harmless. Their homeworld was young compared to the ancient empires of the stars. Their ships were small, their colonies few, and their technology, though efficient, lacked the grandeur of older races. They were curious, eager, and polite. The Council saw them as children stepping into the light for the first time. The humans sent explorers, scientists, and ambassadors to nearby systems. They spoke softly, learned quickly, and always listened. Their leaders bowed respectfully in council meetings. Their traders offered fair deals, and their engineers worked tirelessly to help others. It seemed humanity had come only to share and to learn, but those who looked closer noticed something unusual. Human ships were not just built, they were crafted. Every panel, every line, every system was designed with purpose. Their engines ran quietly. Their sensors reached farther than most thought possible, and their communication systems were built with layers of encryption that even the most advanced species could not easily understand. When asked why they took such care, the humans simply smiled. "We like to be ready for anything," they would say. No one thought much of it. After all, readiness was not a crime. In a galaxy that had forgotten war, the humans' cautious nature was seen as old-fashioned, even amusing. The Lurvian diplomats joked that humans were like children who locked their doors at night in a city that no longer had thieves. The Council laughed with them, but the humans kept building. They settled quietly on moons, asteroids, and small worlds near the edges of known space. They mined rare minerals, built research stations, and set up trade routes. They helped repair damaged satellites and assisted in rescue missions. Wherever they went, they brought cooperation, order, and energy. To outsiders, it looked like progress. To humans, it was preparation. Decades passed. Humanity became a minor but respected member of the United Stellar Council. Their language spread among traders. Their music and art fascinated alien minds. Humans had an endless supply of stories. Stories about courage, loss, and survival. One story that became popular among alien children was about an ancient city called Troy, where brave defenders held their walls against impossible odds. Another was about Apollo 11, the first humans to walk on another world. To aliens, these stories were charming. To humans, they were reminders, because humans remembered something the rest of the galaxy had forgotten: history. Earth's past was filled with struggle. Floods, famines, disasters, wars, and yet humanity had survived. Every generation had learned from the last that peace never stayed unless it was guarded. When the United Stellar Council invited Earth to share its military history, the request was politely declined. "We would rather talk about peace," the human ambassador said, but in secret, deep beneath Earth's oceans and hidden on faraway moons, humans continued to build. Their engineers worked on ships designed for speed and defense. Their scientists studied alien technologies and improved them quietly. Every new discovery was tested in a dozen ways before being shared with others. Humanity was not hiding out of fear. They were preparing out of habit. The first major event that drew attention to them came during a rescue operation near the Varela Nebula. A cargo convoy carrying medical supplies had been caught in a dangerous radiation storm. Several alien vessels were disabled, their crews stranded. Before the Council could send a response fleet, human ships appeared from hyperspace. They moved in perfect coordination, flying through storms that no other species dared enter. Using drones and precision fields, they shielded the damaged ships and pulled them to safety. When the alien captains asked how they had known so quickly, the human commander replied simply, "We monitor the borders. It's good to know what happens around you." The Council praised their efficiency, but some members whispered quietly, "How did the humans react so fast? How did they arrive before anyone else knew what was happening?" The answer remained unclear. On Earth, leaders met in quiet rooms far from the eyes of the galaxy. They discussed strange readings from deep space, growing tensions among older empires, and the possibility that peace would not last forever. One admiral, an older woman with silver hair and calm eyes, summed it up best. "The universe is vast," she said, "and history tells us that peace is never permanent. We must be ready." Under her leadership, the Terran Defense Initiative was formed, a secret network that connected all human colonies and stations. It was not an army, but a promise, that if humanity was ever threatened, they would stand together. To keep it hidden, the initiative used civilian names, shipping companies, research groups, mining operations. But every one of them was part of a larger plan. Meanwhile, the rest of the galaxy continued its peaceful routine. The United Stellar Council grew confident, even lazy. The thought of war became almost impossible to imagine. After all, who would start one? Everyone had what they needed. Trade was strong. Technology was shared. The stars seemed brighter than ever, and yet, somewhere in the dark, beyond the mapped borders, unknown signals moved, faint patterns that no one could decode. The Council dismissed them as natural radiation. The humans did not. They traced the signals back, recorded them, analyzed them. They found that the pattern repeated every 7 months, as if something intelligent was calling, watching, or waiting. The human data analysts shared their findings quietly with the Council. "We think someone is scouting your borders," they warned. The Council laughed. "There is no threat," the chairman said. "The galaxy is united. You worry too much." The humans nodded politely and said nothing more. But when they returned to Earth, the message was clear. If the galaxy refused to prepare, humanity would do it alone. A few years later, the humans established their most distant colony, Erebus Station, located near the edge of Council space. It was small, built on a frozen moon with little to offer. Most species ignored it, assuming it was another mining post. But Erebus was different. Its entire structure was reinforced with heavy alloys, its power cores redundant, its defenses hidden under layers of ice. The colony could survive for decades without outside help. Its leader, Commander Elias Ward, once said to his crew, "We are the first line of defense even if no one believes there's anything to defend against." They worked quietly, improving systems, testing long-range sensors, and mapping the dark beyond. Every discovery was logged and sent back to Earth through secure channels. When alien traders visited, the humans welcomed them warmly, offering food and repairs. The visitors always left impressed, though some said the humans' smiles seemed to hide something deeper. Back in the heart of the Council, some members began to notice a pattern. Human colonies were always self-sufficient, their ships always ready to launch, their fleets always in formation, even during peaceful times. The Threx Dominion, proud and warlike, mocked them publicly. "They build fortresses for shadows," said the Threx general. "Let them waste their metal." The humans didn't respond. They just kept building, because deep down they knew something the others did not. The galaxy's peace was a fragile dream, and dreams could end. Humanity had not come to the stars seeking conquest. They had come seeking safety, the kind that could only be earned through readiness. To them, preparation was not a sign of fear. It was a sign of hope. And while the galaxy laughed, humanity quietly prepared for a storm that no one else could see coming. The stars around Erebus Station were silent as usual. The humans who lived there had grown used to the endless darkness of space. They worked, studied, and maintained their small colony without complaint. Life was calm, steady, and quiet, until the day the warning lights turned red. Commander Elias Ward stood on the observation deck, watching a distant cluster of signals moving toward the station. They were large, organized, and fast. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Mira Chen, read the readings aloud. Unidentified ships, no council signatures, trajectory locked on as Ward frowned. He had been waiting for something like this for years, but he had hoped he was wrong. "Are they broadcasting any message?" "Negative," Chen replied. "But their energy levels show weapons online." The silence in the control room grew heavier. Everyone knew what that meant. Within minutes, a visual came through the screen. Ships painted black and gold, sharp-edged, carrying the crest of the Threx Dominion, one of the oldest warrior empires in the galaxy. The Threx had long considered themselves above others. They valued strength above peace, pride above reason, When the humans first joined the council, the Threx saw them as soft and harmless. Now they saw an opportunity to prove their superiority. The lead Threx captain transmitted a message. His scaly face filled the screen, his yellow eyes cold and amused. "Humans of Erebus Station," he said, "you have built on Threx-claimed space. Surrender your resources and ships and you will not be harmed." Commander Ward stayed calm. "This is Council space," he replied. "We are a recognized member colony. Your claim is invalid," the Threx captain laughed. "The Council's rules are weak." "You are weak. We will take what we want." The screen went dark. Ward turned to his officers. "Send a message to Earth Command," he said. "Code Black." The message was short, just 2 words, "They're coming." Then the station prepared. Humans didn't shout. They didn't panic. They moved with quiet discipline. The crew sealed the lower decks, activated shield systems, and powered defensive platforms. Cargo ships were reconfigured into evacuation vessels for civilians. Every move followed a plan that had been written years ago. Humanity had never forgotten that danger could come without warning. Within an hour, Erebus Station looked calm from the outside, but inside it was ready for battle. The Threx fleet approached with confidence. Their ships outnumbered the humans 10-1. Their cannons glowed red, ready to fire. They expected the humans to surrender quickly, but they didn't. Instead, the human voice came through their communication line again, steady, clear, and unafraid. "This is Commander Elias Ward of Erebus Station. You are violating Council law. Turn back immediately." The Threx captain smirked. "You think we fear your words?" Ward replied softly, "No, but you should fear your own arrogance." Then the stars exploded with light. From behind the station, hidden by the moon's dark side, a group of human ships emerged, sleek, silent, and fast. They weren't large battleships. They were multi-purpose vessels equipped with adaptive shields and precision targeting systems. Before the Threx could react, the human ships fired a wave of electromagnetic pulses that disabled the Dominion's targeting arrays. The Threx formation fell into chaos. The humans moved with perfect timing. They didn't fire wildly or destroy without reason. Instead, they aimed at engines, communication centers, and weapon systems, disabling rather than destroying. Within minutes, half of the Threx fleet was drifting helplessly in space. The rest tried to retreat, but the humans had already blocked their hyperspace routes. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it ended, Erebus Station stood untouched. The Threx survivors were shocked. They had underestimated the humans completely. They expected fear and surrender, but what they found was discipline, intelligence, and technology beyond what they believed humans could build. When their leader demanded to know how humans had built such ships, Commander Ward gave a simple answer. "We plan ahead. It's what we do." He allowed the surviving Threx ships to leave under strict escort. There was no humiliation, no revenge, only a quiet message sent across the galaxy. Do not attack humanity. The Council heard about the incident within days. The Threx tried to downplay it, claiming it was a training exercise gone wrong, but the truth spread quickly. Witnesses described how a small human outpost had defeated one of the oldest military fleets in the galaxy. Many were impressed. Others were afraid. At the next council meeting, the Great Hall buzzed with arguments. Alien ambassadors shouted across the chamber, demanding explanations. The human ambassador, a calm woman named Dr. Alara Singh, listened patiently before speaking. "The Erebus Station was attacked," she said. "We defended ourselves. Nothing more." The Threx representative hissed in anger. "You lie. You hid weapons. You prepared for war." Dr. Singh looked directly at him. "We prepared for survival. There is a difference." The hall fell silent. A soft voice from the council chair asked, "How long have you been preparing?" Dr. Singh smiled politely. "Since we learned about the stars." No one knew what to say. That night across the galaxy, news channels replayed the battle recordings. They showed how human ships moved with quiet coordination, how their systems adapted mid-combat, and how their strategies seemed pre-planned for every possible scenario. The reporters called it the Erebus miracle. But the council analysts saw something deeper. Humanity had not built those ships overnight. It meant they had been preparing for years, perhaps since the day they first joined the council. Questions began to rise. How much did the humans know? How many ships did they truly have? What were they preparing for? No one had the answers, but everyone had theories. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the message from Erebus reached the Terran Defense Command. Admiral Nyra Holt, the same woman who had once warned the Council about unknown signals, stood in the command chamber as the reports came in. Erebus had survived. The humans had won, but Holt did not celebrate. She looked at the star map glowing before her, thousands of dots representing colonies, fleets, and unknown zones. They came too easily, she said quietly. If the Threx attacked now, it means they were testing us. Someone may have pushed them to it. Her aide asked, "Do you think the threat beyond the border is real?" Holt nodded. "I don't think." "I know, and with that?" She ordered all human colonies to activate silent watch protocols, an early warning system that could detect unusual movement across light years. While the galaxy argued in meetings and sent speeches of peace, humans strengthened their sensors, trained their fleets, and refined their technologies, not because they wanted war, but because they wanted to be ready if it came again. Back in Threx space, the defeated warriors faced their own council. Their leader, General Kor, refused to accept the loss quietly. He told his people that the humans had cheated, used forbidden technology, and must be punished. But some Thrax officers who survived the battle disagreed. One of them, Captain Dross, had seen the humans' calm eyes during combat. He stood before the general and said, "They were not angry. They were ready. We attacked them, but they spared us. That is not weakness, that is strength." His words caused division within the Threx ranks. Some wanted to attack again to restore honor. Others wanted to leave the humans alone forever. The Threx Dominion had faced many enemies before, but none like the humans. Weeks passed. The galaxy returned to its routines, pretending that the Erebus incident was over. But things had changed. In marketplaces and starports, whispers began to spread. "Did you hear? A human outpost defeated a whole fleet. They say humans have hidden armies. They say Earth has ships we've never seen." The humans never confirmed or denied any of it. They simply kept working, repairing, building, and exploring as they always did. But from that day forward, no one saw them as harmless anymore. The galaxy had seen the first spark, and it had come from the humans' quiet readiness. For the first time in centuries, the United Stellar Council began to feel uneasy. If one small colony could fight off an entire Dominion fleet, what could humanity do if they were truly threatened? The Threx Dominion had learned the hard way. The rest of the galaxy would soon learn too. But by then it might already be too late, because humans never came unprepared. They never had, and they never would. The story of Erebus Station spread like light through the stars. Every colony, every ship, and every council chamber whispered about the humans who had defeated a Threx fleet with only a handful of vessels. At first, some called it luck. Others called it a miracle. But soon the truth became clear. Humanity had not won by chance. They had won because they were ready. No one could deny it anymore. The humans were not like other young races. They were quiet, cautious, and calculating. They smiled, yes, but their smiles carried something more: awareness. Across the galaxy, people began to study the humans more closely. They looked into their history, their culture, their way of life. What they found only deepened the mystery. On Earth, life went on as usual. The cities shone brightly under the blue sky. Children studied, workers built, scientists invented, and artists painted. To an outsider, it looked like a peaceful world that had finally found its place among the stars. But behind the peace, something much deeper was at work. Every schoolchild learned about the ancient world, about how their ancestors survived storms, disasters, and wars. They were taught that survival came not from power, but from preparation. They studied lessons from every century: how people had once built shelters before the storm, stored food before famine, and made plans before danger arrived. Humanity had learned one truth again and again: hope is good, but readiness is better. This belief had shaped their civilization for thousands of years, and now it shaped their journey among the stars. When alien visitors came to Earth, they were amazed by how humans blended beauty with strength. Cities were powered by clean energy, but also protected by invisible defense grids. Research stations in orbit doubled as communication relays and security hubs. Even their civilian ships could switch into emergency defense mode in minutes. One ambassador from the gentle Mirai species once asked, "Why do you prepare for danger when there is none?" A human engineer smiled and replied, "Because peace is something we protect, not something we expect." The Mirai returned home thoughtful and silent. After the Erebus event, the United Stellar Council sent inspectors to review all human colonies, hoping to understand how they had built their defenses so quickly. The humans welcomed them warmly, offering tours, meals, and explanations. But the inspectors found nothing illegal. Every weapon was registered, every defense platform declared. Everything followed council law. Still, something felt different. Every human system they visited seemed to have layers. Backups for power, backups for life support, backups for communications. Even their farms had hidden bunkers and underground shelters. It wasn't paranoia. It was planning. And planning was something the galaxy had long forgotten. On Luna Station, the largest human base near Earth, Admiral Naira Holt stood before a wall of screens showing hundreds of stars. Her command team was updating her on reports from the outer colonies. "Erebus fully restored," said her communications officer. "Civilian life has resumed. Defensive upgrades complete." "Good," Holt replied. "And the border stations?" "All active. No new threats detected." Holt nodded. But inside she was uneasy. Peaceful reports were always welcome, but she had learned long ago that peace never lasted forever. She looked at the stars and whispered, "The universe is watching us now." And she was right. Across the galaxy, alien scientists began analyzing human behavior. The Council's Department of Xenological Studies even formed a new division, the Human Observation Program. One of their researchers, Professor Velen of the Kari species, presented a report before the Council. "Humans," he said, "are not a warlike race. They do not seek conflict. But they are a species of planners. Their strength is not in aggression, but in foresight. They see every event, every mistake, every loss, as a lesson to prepare for the next time." He paused, showing a series of images. Ancient human ships, storm shelters, even early space stations. "They are builders of safety," he continued. "And that, my friends, is what makes them so unpredictable." The council members murmured in agreement, but some also felt fear. A race that could prepare for anything was a race that could never truly be defeated. Meanwhile, humanity continued to grow. Their colonies reached deeper into space. Each settlement looked simple from the outside, just domes, farms, and cities. But underneath every one of them was an intricate system of tunnels, bunkers, and shield generators. Even their science labs had training centers for emergency situations. Doctors could become medics, engineers could become defenders, and civilians could operate drones or manage shelters. When asked why, a human teacher answered simply, "Because every person matters. Preparation keeps everyone alive." Her words were broadcast widely and became a famous quote throughout the colonies. In the following months, humanity launched a new project called Aegis Initiative. It was presented to the Council as a system of emergency defense and rescue coordination. In reality, it was a network, a vast, interlinked system connecting every human world, ship, and station in real time. Through Aegis, any human colony could send a distress call to all others instantly. Supplies, fleets, or help could arrive faster than anyone imagined possible. No one outside humanity fully understood how it worked. The Council praised it as a model of cooperation, but the humans knew it was more than that. It was a promise. No human world would ever stand alone again. One quiet night, on the colony of New Horizon, a young alien diplomat named Ryan walked through the streets with his human friend, Captain Lila Reyes. The colony was calm, filled with laughter and music. Children played near glowing fountains, and merchants sold food from dozens of worlds. Ryan looked around and said, "I don't understand, Lila. You humans live like you're always expecting something bad to happen, yet you seem so happy." Lila smiled gently. "Because we prepare for the worst," she said. but we live for the best." Brian tilted his head. "You mean you prepare for danger but still enjoy peace?" "Exactly," she replied. "If you prepare well enough, peace lasts longer." Her words echoed in his mind long after he returned home. But not everyone saw humans with admiration. In the hidden halls of the Threx Dominion, General Kor watched a recording of Erebus Station's defense for the 100th time. His eyes burned with frustration. "They humiliated us," he said quietly. "One small station against our entire fleet." A young Threx officer tried to speak. "Sir, they did not destroy us, they only defended." Kor slammed his clawed hand on the table. "Defense or not, they made the Threx look weak. We cannot allow that." The officer hesitated. "But, sir, they are different. Their ships, their strategy—" "Enough!" Kor snapped. "They cannot be different. They are only human." But even as he spoke, doubt touched his heart. He remembered how calm the humans had been, how precise their tactics were. It didn't feel like fighting an enemy. It felt like facing a storm that had been waiting for years. And deep down, Kor feared something he would never admit, that the humans might already know how to defeat them again if needed. In the following year, the galaxy began to change subtly. Races who once disarmed their fleets started rebuilding small defense units. Training academies reopened. Trade routes were mapped with more caution, all because of humanity's example. The humans had not forced anyone to change, but their presence reminded everyone that peace should never make you weak. The Mirai began to study human emergency drills. The Ka'ari requested to join the Aegis Initiative. Even the proud Threx, though silent, began strengthening their patrols. And through it all, humanity continued working quietly, helping others improve, sharing their technology freely, but always keeping something in reserve. Because readiness was not just their habit, it was their nature. Admiral Holt, standing once again on the command bridge of Luna Station, received a message from deep space. It was a faint signal, repeating, coded, and familiar. Her heart sank as she recognized the pattern. It was the same strange signal Earth had detected years before, the one the Council ignored. She turned to her officers. "Record it, analyze it, and prepare the fleets." Her officers nodded without question. As the stars shone quietly outside, Holt whispered to herself, "We've had peace long enough. The galaxy may not be ready, but we will be." Far beyond the reach of human scanners in the cold void between galaxies, something moved, a presence old and vast, stirring after a long sleep. The Threx Dominion had unknowingly awakened it. And now it was coming. The galaxy still believed in endless peace, but the humans were already preparing, because they always did. The galaxy had grown comfortable in its peace. Trade routes were busy, councils met without conflict, and fleets floated lazily through hyperspace, more for ceremony than necessity. Every species believed that the age of war had ended. Every species, that is, except the humans. On Luna Station, Admiral Nyra Holt reviewed reports from human colonies at the edge of known space. The sensors had detected something unusual, a swarm of signals moving in a coordinated pattern. It was faint, distant, but unmistakable. Holt's mind went back to the warning years ago, the same one the Council had dismissed. "The universe is waking up," she whispered to herself. She had trained her fleets for this moment, though no one knew the reason. Humanity had always prepared. The first warning came from the outer systems. Independent scouts reported vast dark fleets moving with speed and purpose. Entire stars seemed to dim as the ships approached. They carried no flags, no emblems, and made no communication. All they left in their wake was silence and fear. The Council was slow to react. After decades of peace, no one wanted to believe that a real threat existed. Fleets were dispatched, but they were hesitant, uncoordinated, and underprepared. Then the Corral swarm struck. The name itself would become legend. The swarm was not a single species, but a coordinated horde of machines and living constructs that consumed everything in their path. They were not interested in negotiation or trade. They consumed energy, metal, and resources, leaving nothing for life to survive. Entire systems fell before anyone could respond. Panic spread quickly. Worlds that had been quiet and prosperous for centuries were now ablaze. Civilizations that had once considered themselves safe were now facing destruction. On Luna Station, Admiral Holt stood silently, watching the devastation on the holographic maps. "Alert the fleets," she ordered. "Initiate Project Aegis." The name Project Aegis was known to few outside humanity. To the galaxy, it was rumored to be a network of defense measures. To humans it was a promise, a way to protect every human world, colony, and station instantly. Within hours, hundreds of human fleets emerged from hidden hyperspace points. Ships from Erebus Station, New Horizon, and colonies in distant sectors converged with calm precision. Civilian vessels had been converted into defensive platforms in moments. Emergency supplies, medical units, and drones were deployed across multiple systems. Every move was coordinated, every fleet positioned for maximum efficiency. Humanity's long years of preparation were now on display, and the galaxy watched in awe. The first encounter came at the edge of the Epsilon sector. A swarm of Corral ships descended on the human fleets, expecting to destroy them easily. But the humans moved with perfect timing. Shield grids extended, defensive drones swarmed, and adaptive weapons targeted the swarm's weak points. The Corral had never encountered resistance like this. Every time they tried to attack, human ships shifted formations, blocked pathways, and cut off supply lines. Their strategy was simple: defend, protect, and counterattack with precision. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. A few human ships were able to hold entire sectors against the swarm, buying time for evacuation, rescue, and countermeasures. Meanwhile, on distant colonies, civilians watched the skies in both fear and hope. Families huddled together as alarms sounded, but they also saw human fleets arriving like guardians. For the first time, many realized that humans did not just build for themselves. They built to protect everyone. Young students on New Horizon watched live transmissions. "Look," a boy shouted. "They're saving the colonies." His sister nodded, her eyes wide. "They are amazing. They always said peace is worth protecting." I think they were right. And indeed they were right. Humanity's fleets weren't just defending human worlds. They were shielding alien colonies, restoring damaged stations, and leading scattered fleets of other species. The Council finally recognized the scale of the threat. Panic-stricken members tried to organize their forces, but they were disorganized and unsure of tactics. Human admirals stepped in. Dr. Ilara Singh, serving as the ambassador and strategist, addressed the Council through secure transmission. "We will coordinate your fleets," she said calmly. "Follow our instructions. Do not act independently. Your ships will be safer under our guidance." Reluctantly, the alien fleets followed. Under human command, once chaotic ships fell into coordinated formations. They moved in synchronized waves, covering supply lines and evacuating civilians while slowing the swarm's advance. In the middle of the battle, Admiral Holt's voice came over communications. "Focus on survival first," she instructed. "Do not try to destroy them entirely. Delay, protect, and organize. The galaxy will be here tomorrow if we do this correctly." Every human commander understood the unspoken rule. Casualties must be minimized, and civilians must be safe. They fought not for glory but for life itself. Human ships moved like living organisms. Small vessels acted as scouts. Drones repaired damages in real time, and massive cruisers formed moving shields for entire systems. Every weapon was used with calculation. Every move had purpose. For the first time in galactic memory, war was not chaos. It was controlled, precise, and almost beautiful. The Corral were relentless. Their horde seemed endless, adapting quickly and striking without hesitation. But humanity's preparation proved stronger. Years of planning, secret colonies, hidden fleets, and trained crews combined into a system that no one could match. They blocked hyperspace routes, used countermeasures that other races hadn't even imagined, and reinforced weak systems instantly. Humanity's network had grown invisible to the galaxy, but now it was shining for all to see. The Threx Dominion, previously proud and aggressive, watched in stunned silence. Their generals whispered among themselves. "We underestimated them," one said. "Yes," another replied, fear in his voice. "They were preparing while we were celebrating peace. We thought them weak. We were wrong." As the battle continued, humans saved lives on hundreds of worlds. Entire cities that would have been destroyed were stabilized. Critical energy stations were secured. Refugees were moved to safe zones faster than anyone believed possible. The galaxy began to understand a truth it had forgotten. Humans did not fight recklessly. They fought to protect life, not to destroy. A young alien girl on a distant mining colony watched the events unfold on her tablet. "They're amazing," she whispered. "They're saving everyone. Why aren't the others like them?" Her father, a Kari officer, shook his head. "They've always been different. They plan, they prepare, and they never stop. That's why they survive." By the end of the first cycle of combat, the Corral swarm had been delayed significantly. Entire sectors had been stabilized. Dozens of fleets that would have been destroyed were now regrouped and ready for further action. The galaxy looked at the humans with awe. Every species had its strengths, but none had the combination of preparation, coordination, and courage that humanity displayed. Dr. Singh addressed the council once more, her calm voice echoing across the chamber. "We do not seek war," she said, "but we do not abandon life to chaos. If the galaxy is to survive, we must be ready, always." For the first time, many council members truly understood humanity. They were not reckless, they were not lucky, and they were not naive. Humanity's strength lay in foresight, discipline, and an unshakable belief that life was worth defending. On Luna Station, Admiral Holt looked at the star map once again. The Corral swarm was not defeated, but it had been slowed. Millions of lives had been saved. Hundreds of systems had been stabilized. Humanity's secret preparations had become the backbone of the galaxy's defense. Holt turned to her aide. "We've only just begun," she said. "The galaxy now knows we exist and they will remember us. But the swarm is still out there, and we will be ready." The aide nodded. "Every human fleet is in position. Every colony is on alert. No one else could have done this," Holt smiled quietly. "We didn't do it for glory. We did it because it had to be done." Far beyond the edge of known space, where the swarm originated, strange signals pulsed as if aware of humanity's presence. Something ancient and vast had awoken, something that had slumbered for millennia. It had heard the battle cries and seen the shields, and it recognized a new force, the humans. And the humans had already prepared. Because no matter what came next, they always did. The galaxy had survived the first wave thanks to humanity's quiet readiness. But the story was far from over. The Corral swarm would return. Other threats were hidden in the dark. And yet, for the first time, the galaxy had hope. Not hope born of luck. Not hope born of miracles. Hope born of preparation. Humanity had shown its true power, and the galaxy would never forget it. The galaxy held its breath. After weeks of chaos and destruction, the Corral swarm had slowed, but it was not defeated. Entire systems still lay in ruin, and countless ships were damaged or lost. The Council struggled to maintain order. But one truth had become undeniable. Humanity had changed everything, from Earth to Erebus, New Horizon to Luna Station. Human fleets were everywhere, moving with calm precision. They did not fight for conquest. They fought to save lives, to protect civilizations, and to restore order. Admiral Naira Holt stood on the bridge of Luna Station, looking at the starfield beyond. Her eyes scanned every blinking dot, every signal of activity. She felt the weight of responsibility, not just for humans, but for the entire galaxy. "This is not a war we sought," she said softly to her aide. "But it is a war we must finish, for everyone." The aide nodded. "Every fleet is ready. Every colony is fortified. Humanity has never been stronger." The humans' plan was simple yet brilliant. Using Project Aegis, every human world, fleet, and station was connected. When the swarm attacked one system, dozens of others responded instantly. Rescue drones, medical ships, and defense fleets moved faster than the swarm could anticipate. What the galaxy had not understood until now was this: every human colony was more than it seemed. Each city, each station, each ship could transform quickly to meet any threat. Hospitals became triage centers. Cargo ships became drone carriers. Civilian stations projected energy shields over entire planets. The Corral swarm had expected an easy conquest, but humans had anticipated even their most unpredictable maneuvers. The first decisive battle took place near the Arcturus sector. The swarm poured in from multiple hyperspace points, trying to overwhelm human defenses. Their numbers were staggering. Thousands of ships, hundreds of constructs moving as one. But humans did not panic. They split their fleets into multiple wings. each designed to respond to different swarm formations. Adaptive shields expanded, deflecting attacks. Energy grids created temporary safe zones for civilians. Human engineers rerouted power from orbiting stations to bolster fleet defenses. It was a symphony of coordination. Every move had been rehearsed, every contingency accounted for. The galaxy watched in awe as human fleets danced among the stars, repelling wave after wave of Corral forces. Meanwhile, behind the front lines, human scientists worked tirelessly. They monitored the swarm's behavior, analyzing its patterns in real time. Within hours, they discovered a weakness. The swarm's central processors were interconnected. By targeting communication hubs, they could disrupt the swarm's coordination without destroying individual units. The solution was executed flawlessly. Small human ships equipped with advanced stealth systems infiltrated the swarm's formations. Within minutes, energy pulses disabled key nodes. Suddenly, the once organized horde began to falter. Their attacks lost cohesion. Their waves broke apart. From afar, other alien fleets cheered. For the first time, the swarm's threat seemed manageable, because humans had prepared for it. Human leadership did not allow the victory to become prideful. Every fleet, every commander, every engineer remained focused. Civilians were moved to safety. Refugees were transported to fortified colonies. Medical teams worked day and night to treat injuries. Even as the Corral weakened, humans did not celebrate. They strengthened defenses in anticipation of the next wave. For them, survival was not luck. It was preparation multiplied by action. Dr. Alara Singh addressed the council through secure transmission. "This is not a human war alone," she said. "Every life matters. Our goal is not victory for glory, but for the future of every species in the galaxy." Her words echoed across chambers and communication networks. For the first time, the council felt humility in front of humanity. The Threx Dominion, who had once mocked humans for preparing, now watched silently. Their generals spoke in hushed tones. "They are not like us," one said. "They are not like any race we have faced." "Yes," another agreed. "They fight not for pride, not for conquest. They fight for life itself, and they do so knowing the cost." The Threx had underestimated humans before. Now they understood that humans could never be underestimated again. Across the galaxy, alien species saw human colonies transform during the conflict. Research stations became command hubs. Farming colonies became supply depots. Even cities on peaceful planets projected shields to protect entire populations. A young Mirai officer recorded the events for history. "I have watched many races fight," she said in her report, "but never have I seen preparation so complete, so precise. Humanity is not the strongest by force alone, but by readiness. They are the galaxy's hidden guardians." Children everywhere learned this lesson firsthand. Schools broadcast transmissions of the human fleets in action. Stories of courage, cooperation, and calm determination inspired young minds. Humanity had not just fought. They had taught the galaxy a new way to face danger. The Corral swarm attempted one last desperate maneuver, trying to bypass human defenses and strike at the Council's core systems. But humans were ready. Every hyperspace gate, every defensive array, every fleet was connected through Project Aegis. The swarm had nowhere to hide. Humans funneled their movements, blocked escape routes, and guided alien fleets to reinforce weakened positions. The final encounter was swift and decisive. The swarm's ships were scattered, neutralized, or captured. The horde had been defeated, not by brute force alone, but by strategy, preparation, and unity. The galaxy had survived. After the battle, human fleets did not celebrate with fireworks or parades. Instead, they helped. They repaired stations, rebuilt cities, and assisted alien populations in recovering. Hospitals were rebuilt, farms restored, trade routes reopened. Admiral Holt looked at the holographic star map dotted with colonies and fleets. "We have done what was necessary," she said quietly. "But the work is never over. The galaxy will always have challenges, and we will always be ready." Her aide nodded. "Humanity has proven that hope alone is not enough. Preparation, courage, and unity, that is what saves lives." Holt smiled. "Exactly. And that is what defines us." At the United Stellar Council, leaders gathered to honor humanity's role. The council chair addressed the assembly. "The humans have done more than defend themselves," the chair said. "They have saved countless lives, held back the Corral swarm, and taught us all a lesson we will never forget. Peace is only as strong as those who protect it." The human ambassador, Dr. Singh, stepped forward. She bowed respectfully. "We did not fight for recognition," she said. "We fought because life is worth defending. If the galaxy survives, it is because we prepared together." Silence filled the hall. Every species understood the meaning. Humanity had shown that readiness, unity, and determination could overcome even the darkest threat. Even the Threx Dominion sent envoys to acknowledge humanity. Though prideful and cautious, they admitted the truth quietly. Humans could not be underestimated. "The humans are not ordinary," General Kor said to his council. "They are the galaxy's shield, and we would do well to remember that." Every species began to realize the same truth. Humans did not fight recklessly. They did not seek war. They fought to protect, to prepare, and to ensure survival. Back on Earth, children played in the parks under a clear sky. Adults worked in laboratories, schools, and offices. Life seemed peaceful, normal, almost as if the swarm had never existed. Yet humanity remembered. They always remembered. Lessons learned from every challenge, every danger, and every battle were recorded, studied, and shared quietly among their fleets and colonies. Because humans knew that peace was not permanent. Peace was something to be built, protected, and defended. And the galaxy had finally learned their greatest lesson. Humans never come unprepared. Years later, as the galaxy rebuilt, a memorial was placed on Luna Station. It read, "To those who fight not for glory but for life. To those who prepare when others rest. To humanity, the guardians of the stars." And the galaxy whispered the truth across every system. Never underestimate the humans, because the galaxy had learned too late. Humanity's strength was not in their ships alone, but in their foresight, courage, and the unwavering will to protect life no matter the cost. And so the humans stood ready always. For the challenges ahead, the unknown dangers in the dark corners of the universe, the humans would be there. Always prepared, always vigilant, always human.